welcome to a bonus episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
This.
We have all this stuff. We can finally speak about the secret machine, which I'm sure some of the sleuths out there probably guessed it. It is a EufyMake.
Yes.
It's the E1, right? Yes, the E1. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It has
to do stuff. So part of that, it kind of like revived your creativity.
Yeah. So the bonus episode, before we get into that part, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and everything in between. Because I would be lying if I said it was all sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
But I did get a beta machine.
It was a tester machine.
So, there's some things that came with that, but we'll get into that later. So yeah, first it definitely did revive my creativity. And then, last year I kind of was like in this weird, really.
Yeah.
It's like
it's what happens.
I was in this weird spot of like what was my thing, right? I wasn't teaching silhouette as much anymore. I still use it every day, but I wasn't enjoying teaching it anymore. Teaching software is really dry. And then they reached out to me and they're like, do you want one? And in exchange, test it out in exchange for content. And I was like, yes, absolutely. So I was super, super excited about it. Let me put it this way. So for one, I recommend having an extra ink set and a cleaning cartridge on hand because in 2 to 3 weeks, I think it was 2.
Especially when you first get it.
Yeah, because it's kind of like when you first get a laser, right? You start engraving on everything in your house that you can engrave on. The same thing happens with the printer. You literally start printing on everything. You just try it out to see if it works. And you just print on all the things. And so I very, very quickly ran through the cleaning cartridge. Now, that's not typical use.
Right.
As soon as something would finish printing, I was thinking about what am I printing next?
Right.
I was printing all of the things, right? And then, so this is kind of we'll talk about the bad, right? We'll get that out of the way. I will say that there's a lot of good. And for me, it's still the good outweighs the bad. And I do think that a lot of the quote bad that I had was due to the fact that it was a beta machine.
Right. We're testing it for them, we're printing on all the things to see what issues we come into.
Right. So they had an issue back then with a bad batch of magenta ink. And so the magenta ink would start to cause issues with your print head and the color and all of that. And it definitely, I had the telltale signs of the magenta issue. And so they sent me a new print head, the new magenta ink, and then that was good. And then I had some issues with the ink cartridge clips.
Yep.
They were breaking. But then all of a sudden, it had a couple colors were printing weird, so I did some cleaning cycles. And as I did the cleaning cycles and test prints, it only got worse. And so then they ended up having to send me a replacement machine. And so, I've had this one for, I'd say, a month or 2 of actual use. I haven't had any issues at all with the new one, thankfully, knock on wood. This is actually wood too, so I'm really knocking on wood.
Right.
And so, I love it. but they were great about, you know, responding to any kind of issues or questions I had. The Discord, I'm not a Discord person until this. I'd heard about it before. I had downloaded it for other reasons and then just honestly would forget that it existed.
Right.
But I used it a lot, especially when I was like kind of in between. Like, is this a customer service issue or is this like a user issue? Because again, when you have new equipment, a lot of the things that you run into are user error,
right?
Because it's new to you, right? I mean, we all ran into that with our lasers of user issues that, you know, you don't always know that they're user error. You just know that there's an error, right?
Yeah.
So the Discord was great for that. It was great to see what other people were working on and making. You could see if someone else was having the same issue, like, oh, me too. So yeah, it was great, especially during that testing process, because it, you know, was there for you to be able to access. And they did have obviously some Eufy employees in the Discord that would answer you or tell you, you know, hey, try this, or this would maybe be the next step, or, you know, some basically troubleshooting without going through the like support channel or the support email.
Right.
So yeah, they were great, you know, for the most part about being responsive when I had questions or issues. So that made it a lot easier to deal with. I guess now we can start talking about what I've made.
Right.
So I really, really like using the tumbler, the rotary.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
so easy. And not to knock Mamaki, but the Kebab, their rotary is a little cumbersome to switch your machine over. It's kind of like, if you're printing a lot of tumblers, you're probably going to want a second Mamaki so that you don't have to switch it back and forth, because it's
like
going
a laser,
to slow down production.
Kind of like a laser putting a pie burn in there.
And that's why we have the Mira 5 with the rotary, whatever.
And I will say what one thing I like about, and it's speaking to how easy it is to do the cups, is even with the bed size, like the Eufy system where you lock it into place and then you unlock. So like for the small flatbed and the big one, it's the same mechanism. You unlock, you take it out, you put it in there. It has, like, you don't have to,
there's only one way
recalibrate. You don't have to do, you literally just take it out, put it in, put your stuff. The software reads what insert, I guess you call it, is in there, whether it be the rotary or the bigger bed or the smaller one. And yeah, it was so easy to set this up.
Well, this one, like, even with the handle, like the handles are difficult, you know?
Yeah, it's the same. So how it does it, I mean, this was one of the first things we did.
It was.
So I'm trying to remember how, I know there are like standoffs that take in part for this, so that it doesn't bottom out.
Yeah, but I just remember it being easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy.
The only thing, I mean, obviously with size, right? You can't do 30 ounces and 40 ounces. Now, at least with the rotary, you can try UV DTF. You can, and I haven't done the DTF again since the magenta issue was fixed, because I did try it, but then, and it worked, but my colors were off because of that magenta issue that I was having at the time. But this one is just like a flat print. You literally can't feel it. This one, I added texture. And so I already had, this was like I think I did an AI fish of one of the local fish that's common in our area. And then I did the pattern texture option in their software, and it makes it really easy. And so it added like texture for its fins and the little dots, and, you know, you can actually feel the raised text on this tumbler. So these are some, I loved the tone on tone, what do you call it, with the gift tags. So this is literally just matte black acrylic with gloss. So no ink, no color, no anything, and it looks so good. I did the same thing with a bunch of keychains, but first, coffee. So those are really cool. I, of course, did the photo blocks. Now that has its own thing. What I would recommend for those is not printing directly to the edge, because then you have to tape the edge because of the overspray. And then the tape kind of grabs all the hairs and then can potentially add to like chipping on the edge. So what I would do if you're going to do these is I would just barely make it tiny, like smaller than your actual plaque, so that you're not printing to the edge, and then it'll have better adhesion to the acrylic. We locally made some food signs, and so it was mashed potatoes and green beans and all that. Super quick. This is just an easy piece of matte white acrylic, cut in a rounded rectangle and printed on. Also very quick print as well. This is a leatherette keychain. Now, technically, this leatherette keychain, these are from Lone Star Adhesive. You can't see it very well. There we go, because of the plastic. But I printed this, I believe, without white, or maybe I just did the white. So if there's any kind of flex to it, you'll want the flexible ink, which I don't know if that's available yet, but it's coming soon. Or if you're lucky enough and it's flexible, like I printed on some koozies that I could not find for this. But the koozies, it was a baseball koozie. Right. So it was already white. So I didn't need the white, because the other white, it's not for leatherette or flexible things, because it can crack.
Right.
This is a softball keychain, and with
also
our logo
on that one. What surprised me was the size of the print.
It's tiny.
It's so small, but it's
it
real
looks
detail.
So
and
good.
I have close-up shots of that.
Yeah.
That I'll put into
it. And then this one. Now, this was our fault. The text on the bottom was a little too small. We probably should have just removed that for this application. Yeah. These were keychains that were for my friend who actually passed from cancer. The 6-7 keychains, when those were popular. I really, really like these ceramic magnets that came in my little like test kit thing. Yeah. So much so that I ended up, because they weren't selling them yet. I think they're going to be, but they weren't selling magnets because I needed more of them.
Oh, right,
I loved them so much. I got them from Alibaba. But they're really cool, quick prints. Right. Even adding a little bit of texture, like it does not take long. These are a couple minutes
or
tops.
A lot of it.
That's a lot of texture.
I think this is what was the max? 4?
Yeah, 4 millimeters.
4 millimeters. And I purposely didn't smooth it out. Because I wanted to really show, like, I wanted to see the depth of it, because that's another thing too. There's a control there where you can smooth out,
right?
And it's not so like it's still raised, but it's a little smoother.
Yeah,
it's kind of
like rounded, beveled almost.
Yeah. And this is like harsh.
Yeah,
but it's what I wanted.
Cool.
Yeah, it does. That's what I wanted to. Almost like I'd want to play with it and put some ink on it, see if it'll stamp.
Right.
Because it's like that. It's like I put the softness like 0.
Right.
But it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's the max height, which is cool too.
Yeah. And so more local photographer prints. We actually took this picture of a local bridge. This is a picture on a recent trip right before my father passed. This is in their software, and it has, the moon, and you can actually there's the texture of, around the moon.
Right.
But these are great, quick little gifts. Can you switch the camera for me? Thank you. When we were doing our local podcast and we were highlighting local businesses, my favorite thing was to print one of these little magnets with the guest logo on it, and it was an easy gift of here, thank you for being on, but also didn't cost me a lot, right? Because these magnets cost me, I don't know, probably under $1, maybe even under 50 cents each.
Right.
And then probably the same in ink costs, and then about 5 minutes, So I would just swipe their logo from Facebook and put it on a magnet.
And then to speak to that, there is no going in and fixing the vector. There's no going in fixing the file.
Right.
You know,
it's just a
JPEG,
PNG.
yeah, a PNG or a JPEG. You bring it into the software, and then you literally, you take a picture of the bed with the piece on there, the blank, and then you size it to how you want it,
right?
More or less.
Yeah. And then switch it again. So another thing, this was one of my first prints, and this is another, AI turtle, and then Vero Beach, one of our local cities. And on the slate, the adhesion is amazing. I have scratched this so much. One, just because it's fun, and also just checking to make sure it's actually adhered well. So it adhered very well onto these slate coasters that I've literally had sitting around probably for years. And then recently I needed to make let me grab this one, some teacher appreciation gifts. And so I generated a graphic. It's a little turtle. It's one of our kids' mascots. And you made a splash this year with some bubble acrylic from CMB, some keychain thingies, and some little charms that I actually sell on my website. So I had all of this stuff on hand. So it was this easy gift that I could give to other teachers. First time I did today that I used the 0 point tool instead of the snapshot.
Right.
So quickly, the way that you do it, so like say if I was doing this magnet, right, I would put this on the bed of the Eufy, and then I would take a snapshot of the Eufy bed, and it would show me a literal picture of this on the mat, and then I would line up my photo. I'd stretch it or either reduce the size to fit onto what I'm printing on, and then you go, right? Well, for these keychains, especially because I was printing 8 of them at a time, with any camera, right? The stuff in the center is going to be the most accurate. Their software does try to make some corrections for the outside stuff, but it's not perfect, right? So what you do to get near perfect alignment is you use the 0 point tool. So look up some tutorials on YouTube. I might eventually do one. I just don't have one right now.
Yeah.
But basically the idea is you do the 0 point calibration, then you put your item. So it was this is my jig. Basically, this is the cutout from all my keychains. You put it at 0 point, which is the bottom right hand corner. You line it up. You do that with your print that is the same as your cut file, basically, right? The same layout. And then it uses that to print rather than the snapshot.
Right.
It obviously needs to know the height of your material, so it'll go in and get the height, but it's not you're not placing 8 graphics on here, because if you were, this one would probably be good, this one would be decent, but these ones would probably be a little bit off.
Yeah, and I will
there's
say,
not a lot of room for error on these because I was printing pretty close to the edge.
I will say, I didn't know anything about the 0 axis. You were out of town. And when Pop, your dad, did pass, I made this into keychains for us. Not knowing the 0 axis, I did it the hard way.
Yeah, you did.
And I put the 3 there, and then I put the image, I put it on one, then I duplicated. At least I knew how to duplicate.
Yeah.
I duplicated it so it's the same size, and I put it over the other one. The issue I was running into, which much like you were speaking about, is making sure that the hole for the keychain thingy wasn't in one of our faces.
Oh, right.
And it was like almost in between, a little bit above and in between.
Yeah.
So I had to tweak every picture that way. And then this does solve it. This is more like what you think of when you think of print and cut.
Right. Yeah, because I cut then print, but it's basically
but it's the same
process.
thing, because you could do it either, print and cut is the way people say it.
I could have cut it, printed it on it there first, which some people do. I know Mikey and Jordan Garrett with Curious Bison, they typically, I think, print first and then go cut.
Right.
But yeah, you could do it either way. Right. And then you're just need to make sure you have a point for you to go from on the laser.
So even though it looks a little different in how you execute it, even the EufyMake, you can still do essentially print and cut with it. It just looks a little bit different. Which is a huge thing. You know, again, given its place in the industry, it can still do what the big machines do. Yeah. And listen, if you put the small bed in there and you fold up the sides and close it, which if we're in our garage and you would smell the UV ink with it like wide open, especially on the big flat bed. But when you close it, the filter that it has is amazing because you don't smell it. You don't smell it. Obviously, when you open it, the fumes start coming out.
Now, if you're in a small bedroom, maybe,
or, that's different.
You know, we're in a bigger garage,
a 2-car garage,
and we have the laser smells and all that stuff. Anyway, you know, we vent it out, but like acrylic, no matter what, it's gonna smell the cuts.
I would argue whatever we're cutting in the laser or engraving in the laser smells more, even with the laser closed, than the Eufy closed with the ink.
I can say, about the same.
And that was another thing too. We were fighting over who was printing. At first.
I would print stuff. Or like he would print stuff and I was like, okay, I'm next. I have things I need to print. And he was like, okay. We'd have to like take turns like printing on it. I would say most of the issues that I ran into were due to the fact that it was a beta machine. It was one of the first ones. And of course you're going to run into issues with those, right? It's the first batch. Like with anything, there's, you know, you feel they feel like they've run all of the tests they can, but the big test is actually people using them, not in a controlled environment. Exactly. And then, so either the issues I've had, I believe, were due to the fact that it was beta or user error, not the right application. We had a fail when we printed on a like leather bag.
Can I show a fail?
No, it's so bad though.
It's but very nice ombre.
It wasn't one. We shouldn't have printed on the leather because we didn't have the flexible ink, so I just didn't do white.
Right. It was very hard to get it flat. Yeah, it was very hard to get it flat.
You needed to be flat and level. It just wasn't a good application for it, and we knew that going into it that it very well could be a fail. But
and I will say with that first machine that we had, one of the very first things we had to do was change the head. And I just want to talk a little bit about how easy it was to actually do it. So it seemed intimidating at first,
right?
Because everything it's like enclosed. It's not open, necessarily like the big industrial machines are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's for aesthetics because it looks nice.
Right.
So it was a little intimidating, but once I got in there and following their directions, which were really good as to like how to remove it and how to replace it, it was a very straightforward and easy.
Like 10 minutes maybe?
Yeah, especially for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, so it's even though it was something we ran into, it was an easy fix.
Right.
Like as far as getting in there and actually doing it.
Yeah, and the instructions were very thorough and clear.
Yes. Yes, there was no second guessing or having to like work around or what did they mean or anything like that. What they said, how they said it was to be done was how it went.
Right.
And it was seamless. So shout out to them for that. And overall, I mean, we love our new one.
Yeah.
We've been printing on it. We print and cut. I love this texture. The texture build, I mean, just UV printing across the board. The texture is, I feel like, what aside from the color is the second thing that really gets people into the printing.
Yeah.
So one, the ability to do such vibrant colors, and then two, getting that depth in the texture build stuff.
Yeah. I think that it shines in like smaller projects and batch projects. Oh, there was one thing I forgot to cover. So this is actually a name tag for my friend. Sorry, memory, you'll get it someday. So it's sparkly acrylic with little like bat confetti inside, and then it's a bat shape with her name, right? So she had just a regular rectangle name tag with, memory engraved on it. And it's not fun. You know, she wanted something fun. Like really the only rule was that she had to have a name tag with her name on it. And so she was like, make me some fun name tags. So it was really easy to make this and then put it in the Eufy and then print. Like this took like probably more time for the machine to like ramp up than to actually print. It was so fast. Yeah. So it's really great for, you know, one-off, custom, you know, unique products like that. Seeing all of this on this table, this is not everything I've printed. This is everything that I've kept. I've given a lot in this stuff. And I have barely even touched the surface on what it can do. It can print on canvases. It can print when the flexible ink comes out. Now it can print on fabric and flexible things.
I think we have aluminum
the
sheets.
UV DTF. There's some aluminum sheets. I think there's some. Is there LED?
Oh yeah, there was something with
a light box or something maybe. I mean, so many. You just obviously want to make sure to check and see if it's UV ink compatible or if you need an adhesion promoter or not. Right. A side note, once you've printed on it, you'll want to do what they call kind of the tape test or the scratch test.
Oh, to make sure.
Make sure, you know, use a piece of painter's tape and make sure it's fully cured, I believe, after like 24 hours or whatever. So you can I do it right away.
Right.
But check it again, you know, after the full 24 hours, it might be a little bit stronger.
We haven't even used the DTF.
Yeah. Again, I did use it that one time, but I had the magenta ink, so it printed nice. It worked, but the colors were off because I didn't know about the magenta issue yet.
And again,
there's just so much.
That insert, same deal, just clips in. It's not difficult at all.
Yeah.
So
very beginner friendly in my eyes.
I would say the only. Is just the time, but that just comes with the size of the machine.
Yeah, it comes with a desktop / kind of hobby machine, just like the Glowforges.
I wouldn't even call it a limitation. I would just
it's something you need
it's
to
just
know.
something you need to factor in. Is the time it takes a little bit longer, but there are no limitations.
Right.
So with that, this has been a great bonus episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done. The Riley Black Project. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. Nino, I'm recording.